Beautiful. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so happy to be here with you guys.
Yes.
Hmm.
How has things been transpiring for you since we last spoke? What has
Oh,
transpired?
a lot of things going on in my life, simultaneously, but I do a lot of work as well. I mean, personally,
Hmm.
just to keep myself in a awesome spirit,
Hmm.
positive energy. Of course, positive. I'm not saying positive when you're saying like think about positive. No, no, I'm just doing a lot of stuff just to, handle things. But
Hmm.
thank you for asking. How was you? How was your weekend? I know you came back from California, which is exciting. You are home, and I see there is some of my families joining.
Oh,
I'm
okay. Привет. Привет to the family.
Привет, the family who speaks English too, and I'm so happy to see you all.
Spasibo.
Nice.
Spasibo. Thank you for
John,
joining.
I see you. I'm so happy to see you. Let me just say hello to everybody first. I see some other from Russia, and I want to say, я люблю вас. Я люблю вас. Thank you for joining, and of course, it's gonna be interesting talk as always with you.
As always.
All right, so I'm gonna give it back to you since it's your field, and we'll go with the flow.
Yeah, when you were talking about keeping that positive energy and doing things to maintain your vibe, it reminds me, Albina, I remember seeing on your page, you put up a post about, you know, what do you do to take care of your soul? And you said you had some daily rituals to take care of your soul. What do you feel would be your daily rituals in that way?
Well, first of all, before I get to it, I want to say that every one of us go through a round of emotions and all events, right? From the very beginning, were born, which build up a neural pathway in our brain. Even if we don't want it, even if we don't realize it, it's still making its way in our brain, creating the patterns of our life, creating a certain state of our being, our mind. And then later on in life, it develops certain state of our mind and our being where we either look like, people might view us a certain way and say, yeah, that one was always mean, or that one always complain, and or that one is always happy, different things.
Mhm.
And it's all based on how, I mean, the feelings are the feelings. They're coming from somewhere anyway. So in order for me to develop life that I enjoy, that my kids enjoy with me,
Mhm.
that people that I surrounded by enjoy altogether, that where I can capture the moment of the day, here and now, not being somewhere in the past, not digesting events from yesterday, 2 years ago, whatever they are. Of course, I do a lot of rituals, and those are not just like fall on me yesterday and I started to do it, then a week later I changed it. No, it's a long path, and I would say I started somewhere 10 years, 12 years ago.
Mhm.
So the meditation for sure became a part of me,
Mhm.
of my life. Now I expanded that experience, switching from a little meditation, 16 minutes that I used to do, developed it into a longer one, the longer that, uh, see if I start from the beginning.
Mhm.
Uh, we all live in our body. And I was telling you that the last meeting that we had, uh, living in the body, it's living in the past, because all the feelings that body feels it based on the past. Nothing is something that is not experienced, and the past creates our future. So the day that we are living in our body creates our tomorrow, and tomorrow will be always the same as yesterday, and this is not something new. We can all refer to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he saying it all over the place, and it's scientifically proven fact. So what I do through the meditations, I move the energy from the lower chakra, lower chakras of basic life, where we surviving, where we need the food or some things, emergency things for our survival, up into the, higher level.
Mm-hmm.
How to say, disconnect feelings of the body from your state of mind. And that's where you can move in meditation and some other pathway, creating a different experience in your life. Though somehow it creates your life tomorrow, and somehow it creates a different view on today events. Somehow it creates your state of being here and now, where you presently enjoying the time with your kids, or where you're going somewhere and you're present there. So the meditation, Jerome, you help me to navigate, because I can easily go off the track, because a lot of information. I do a lot of things. I work a lot with a lot of people, with a lot of groups, with a lot of different things. So pull different things from every
Yes,
other things that
of
I do.
course. With that meditation, when you were talking about, moving through the chakras, how do you do that? What is your method with that motion, and the way that you maneuver in that way through your body? How do you use that modality with that meditation? Is it like a guided meditation? Do you use visualization, or just contemplation, or relaxation? Like, what is your method?
Well, it's different, from different areas came to into my life. And the last one that was breakthrough is, of course, again, I'm going back to Joe Dispenza, because that the one that I do is, I use that as a basic, is as my first in the morning ritual, a 1 hour meditation. Somebody would say, crazy, how many hours, how much time you have in life? That hour changed the day. That hour creates my mood for the day, and sets all those feelings that I'm waking up with, or going with daily life with. So it's a guided meditation. It's divided into two different patterns. Of course, it's based on a scientific research, where every chakra, some people who's not even close to those areas of life, chakra or energy, right? They might think, that's something I never tried. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to even go into it. But important stuff is that every chakra is our energy center. If we look into our body from energetical standpoint, not visually, better, I'm sorry, not visually seeing it, but saying, like, if we scan it with a certain equipment, that's what Dr. Dispenza have done many times, with equipment that capture the magnetic field around our body. There is different terms for that as well, but every chakra would have a magnetic field. So you can see and notice through your body certain areas, chakra through chakra, certain mass of energy. So if the most of the energy concentrated in the lower chakras, sexuality, those first, second, third chakras, third not even that bad as first and second, it's a surviving mode. People where the concentration of energy mostly in the first and the second chakra, people who survive, people who live just in the body, and it always would be the feeling of the past. It's always experiencing a certain experience in life, in communication with a partner, with a family, where person feels always being emotionally disconnected, being upset always with somebody or something else. It's nothing to do with the real life, real time life here and now. It's something to do with the past, And that would lock the energy down in the first, second chakra of our body.
Mm-hmm.
Through guided meditation, you of course concentrate on every chakra and move it with a concentration, focusing your consciousness on that area, moving it up over the seventh chakra, right? Why do we do it? Because magnetic field, when you concentrate on certain area of your body, concentration actually pulls the magnetic field toward that area. And when you move with your focus, move your concentration within up into the, let's say, seventh chakra, you actually moving not just your focus, you're moving that magnetic field of energy from the lower chakra up all the way to the seventh chakra. That changes the feeling of the body, where there is no more feeling connected to a past, but creating state where you are free from the feeling of the body, and that's where you can start creating desired life or desired day or whatever plan you have for the day, for your life. That's where you can create, experience it in a meditation state without experience of the body connected to the past.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful explanation. You know, I never heard anyone break it down quite like that. And it sounds like wherever your focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it
Absolutely.
sounds like. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with that focus, you know, what do you feel personally like in your body when that flow of energy, that magnetism pulls it from those lower chakras up to the higher chakras? Like, what do you feel when you experience that?
Well, if you ever worked with energy of your body, and if you trust your body, the feelings of your body, because I found that I was myself the same thing, the same way, not trusting to the feelings of our body. We feel the chills, we feel the flow of goosebumps or stuff like that. We don't make sense out of it. We're thinking, oh, that's just something rushed through my body. But it's that rush is actually the wave of energy. If we're going from the quantum physics or physics of atoms, that would explain it more careful. And what you would feel is like down in the lower chakra, you don't feel much, but when you go to the seven, you feel like pulling, like something pulling from the top. And it's not for somebody who just started to do like meditations, this sort of meditations, they would disregard the feelings, but pulling feelings, or if we concentrate on our hands and let's say we are focusing on our heart and moving the energy from the heart into our hands, all towards some object, toward like healing. Let's go to the healing practices, right? The people who work with energy to heal, directing their palms of their hand toward the person that they are healing. Let's bring this explanation or instance. When they do it, what they feel that there is some pulling feelings from their palm, from their hands. Same thing. So that's kind of like for somebody who never tried doing practices like that, they would experience and they would probably feel, and they most of the time they will feel with the concentration of their keeping their focus on certain area, they will feel something.
Okay.
Sort of pulling.
Okay. Okay. And what you were saying before about the feelings of survival and maybe even the feelings of lack or not having enough, you're saying that these are more in people that have the energy concentrated and focused in those lower two chakras?
Yes. And how you would see is the people, they are more I can't even explain. So it's the first chakra, you probably know already. It's a chakra of survival, how to multiply yourself, how to give a birth to like make a kids and all that stuff. Sexual chakra, they call it too, the first and the second. And that's the main reason why most people have the energy down in the below chakras, because this is the first that works and that makes us keep ourselves safe and survive and pass our life down to the next generation. So this is important. I'm not disregarding the meaning of those two energy fields, energy points. But what I'm saying, out of those two, there is no gratitude. Gratitude can be only when you pull it up over the heart chakra, over the soul chakra, up a little bit more. And that's where you experience life from different angle. You start to appreciate. You start to see life for more than it's just surviving. And some people over the time, they find themselves the way to those living in a state of appreciation over the time when they went through a life experience sort of that brought them down, up and down, and gave them some knowledge, gave them realization and for why things happen in their life. And then they're moving their energy field on its own somewhere or over the heart chakra where they experience watching the kids and having feeling of blessing. And they are watching their own grandkids or laugh of their kids or enjoying the time with the friends. It's already from a different point and not from survival.
Right.
But if we're going back to a practices that I do, right?
Okay.
It's not just the meditation. I always suggest do one thing at least. Start with something that would change your daily routine. Add something that you're never gonna abandon, that you will follow every day, no matter what, weekend or night, no matter what time you wake up. I have meetings when I wake up at 6. I need to wake up at 4:50 in order to do all the rituals that I do, and I do it. If I go to sleep at 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I won't go until I finish the meditation before the sleep. It's another one. And it's not to just like, oh, that's to extend of you too much. No. I just know that tomorrow I will feel again resourceful, energetic. I will have a lot of energy. Every time I step into the group that I work with, no matter how many people there, could be 1,000 people, there could be any, they're all watching me and they're saying, Albina is here. Albina, tell us how you do this or this or that. And I am having all that energy just to bring it to a group, you know? And it's like you are connected to yourself. You depending on yourself, internally having that strength to depend on yourself, not financial, not in nothing to do with that. It's depending on your strength within.
Okay. So when you talk about, having more energy, and I love, when you're having these practices that give you so much vibrancy, that give you so much vigor, that just revitalize you for life and living and just fuel you with this vitality. I feel like, energy kind of goes hand in hand with time. There's people that say they don't have enough time, but sometimes it's a feeling of not having enough energy. So even with, people who are in the autonomous lifestyle or who are living autonomously, where have you seen the link between time and energy? Where do the two coincide?
Well, people who live autonomous lifestyle, their timing and their day goes completely different. For those who's not familiar with this term, because I'm sure some of my followers or some of my family or people who are watching it, they do not know what autonomous lifestyle. Let me shock you guys. It's when people do not eat and don't drink, and that's their lifestyle. And it actually exists, and it's actually shocking because from the medical standpoint, our body do need food, protein, all those elements, microelements, vitamins that we extract from the food, that our body extracts from the food. But against that medical conclusion, there is something very shocking that actually body do not need any elements, microelements, vitamins, and all those proteins, because it needs it only when we eat.
Mm.
Okay, it's a little bit confusing. It needs when we eat to digest it.
Mm.
On its own, body do not need those from outside because it has enough to support the system of our body in health wise and in any ways. So when people go to autonomy, to live life autonomously or practice dry fasting, of course they're going through the days that that they feel there is no energy, and it's a detox days. They call it detox or crisis, crisis days. Don't remember exactly the name in English. And the second day out of let's say dry fasting, the second day is most hard day for the most people because it's when the body turns on detox, and that's when all energy that you had drained, because we eat every day. Some of us, most of us, majority of people, and it's very heavy on our body, of course, and that's why we are getting older, because people who I work with, those people who do not eat, and there is a lot of people, their body goes into a different working. It's then like not getting older, but they are getting looking more radiant. They're getting looking healthier. They are, the skin looks like a baby skin, feels like a so strong and different, different. What I can tell you from my perspective, from my own experience, when I eat cooked food, I can see next day and a couple of days after everything on my face. I get more wrinkles. I get my skin completely different. I can see it in my face. And when I take off again all food that cooks, that cooked, that fried, that you do normally fry or cook or do something, and leave only greens or veggies or fruits, something that you don't need to cook, I feel different. There is so much energy. The body feels different. The skin looks different. You like getting younger.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are looking into perspective how autonomous people feel, where they get energy, you know what? It's a secret of our existence. The energy is coming from somewhere. I don't know, but there is more energy that you can only imagine, because there is also degrees of sleep, right? And you are aware of it too. The sleep shrinks to a 1 hour, 2 hours a day, because sleep is actually rejuvenating, healing our body, being affected by all the fried and cooked food and etc. When there is no food, then there is a decrease of sleep, decrease, right? Shrinks. Translating. And they are moving always. They always moving, and there is a reason behind it, because movement is that's what causing the blood circulation, and it's important to move when you don't eat or you dry fast, because this is very could be dangerous in a way where there could be a blockages in the veins, because people sometimes go to dry fast and they stop moving because they like dry fasting.
Right.
And it causes different issues in the body. So if you trying any dry fast, try to move at least 10,000 steps a day. Try do some workout, lifting, whatever works for you.
Right. To get the circulation going, to get the body moving, to get the body grooving in that way. Right.
Exactly. and on top of it, you get energy out of it,
Right.
which is also interesting fact that goes against the medical perspective.
Okay. Okay. So what would you say would be the correlation or the connection with energy and time when it comes to these lifestyles? Because like you say, in addition, with people who are living autonomously, when sleep is falling off, you're almost in like a timeless state. There's no beginning, there's no end. Day and night kind of blend, you know?
Of
So,
course.
so what would you say?
Well, there is a lot of times, yeah, I don't believe when people say I don't have time. They don't have time for them. But I'll tell you, people who say that, they probably do everything possible to make sure they don't have time,
Mm,
or to look like they don't. I've been like that before, sometimes 10 years ago too. I know that we create time, and with correlation between, if you are asking in regards to not eating or dry fasting and the time, of course there is a lot of time. If you dry fasting, if people who lives autonomous lifestyle, they actually have the time, all the time in the world. I mean, because we use 8 hours of sleep minimum or maximum for somebody.
mm,
So taking out of those 7 hours, 6 hours being active during the night, it's additional time. But why it's the time is not that, it's not the time, but most of us here are not on the path of autonomous yet, or probably it's something very far for a lot of people. Like for me too, I still don't see that I'm going to leave it
mm,
this way. I have a different perspective, though I absolutely respect people who do choose different paths.
mhm.
And I see how much benefits they gain out of it. For me, it's still, I'm very attached to food for many reasons. The food is compensation, as I was telling you the other
Right.
session, in the other life. It's compensation just like everything else.
Okay. So when it comes to, the concept of time and how, you know, the abundance of energy or lack of energy might affect your perception of time. I love what you said, Albina, that you said some people, they would do anything in their power to make sure they don't have time. And
For
it's
it, yeah.
interesting. It's interesting you say that because why do you feel like if someone were to have, 6 extra hours a night where they're not sleeping, where they're just awake, with all this energy, why do you think that might be uncomfortable for most people?
Because not everybody wants to do it. It's a lot of sabotage. It's a lot of what is the name of it? We are the last one who would do something for us at the beginning of our
Mm,
journey, you know. Sometimes people find themselves sitting on the bed, uh, everything arranged for the meditation or for the practice, but they pushing it further and further. Let me check Instagram, let me do this, emails, anything possible. When there is time, you created time. And
mm,
then they find themselves at 2 o'clock in the morning and they still didn't do it. And they're like, all right, now it's the time. I'm already falling asleep. I'll do it now. You know? It's like we are doing things for us at the beginning of journey. Let's say I just started to meditate, for
mhm,
example, and I'm gonna do it with excitement a whole week. But week after, I'm gonna sabotage it once in a while,
mm,
and then I'm gonna miss one, and then I'm gonna say, okay, tomorrow I'll do 2 meditations a day instead of today, because today I'm a little bit doesn't don't feel it, or whatever. Those excuses come into the play. The life already changed. You already feel energized. You already feel great. But then those patterns where you are sabotaging yourself, they start to show up in a way that, again, the day didn't work out.
mhm.
Things
Okay.
didn't work out. Emotional stress, tension in the body that we feel within our muscles, sometimes without realizing that we have it, because, as I'm saying, it's from the past. We just experience it on its own, and we fall into those feelings on its own, without our control over it.
Okay.
If So the rituals, daily rituals, are important because they keep you on the path. They take the stress out of your day. They take the tension out of your body. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So where would you say that the self-sabotage falls in line with the subconscious, you know, or the things that lie below the surface? Because I'm sure there are many people who, like yourself, you said in the past you were more inclined to sabotage yourself and maybe do things that, you know, knew that weren't in your highest alignment, but that somehow changed for you. So what would you say to the people that feel like they don't have any control? Because there's you know, sayings like, if you don't know what triggers these habits, then you'll end up doing it before you know it, you know? So how would you answer that?
Well, one thing for sure, if something doesn't work in life, and a person experiencing certain feelings over and over and over again with different, let's go back to relationship, we'll get that area of life, relationship, and the person feels always not understood, you know, they feel not as a value, you know, feel devalued on the other hand, right? Or some certain negative feelings in relationship, somehow it's always the same feelings, different partner, different timing, but the feelings coming, the person goes roll into the same pattern toward like 50 year in a row living with a partner or something else. Just I'm throwing the examples just to have a picture in your mind to understand what I'm just being triggered by the partner, but those feelings came from somewhere. Because if you don't have the experience in your body, in your brain, in your neural pathway from the very, very, very past, like very young ages, then it's not gonna touch you. Then you're never gonna feel abandoned in a relationship. You're never gonna feel disconnected in a relationship if you don't have experience. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
And the partner just triggers with certain words, with certain patterns of actions, triggers those feelings within, let's say, me, okay? And that's where you're like, okay, is he bad or it's me? Of course, of course, people are going to give you what you are looking for. It's one universe, one field. And if we're going back to quantum physics, we live in one field, the whole universe, the whole connection to one another, you and me, every single one within your household. You see it as a physically separated people or objects. They are not. In quantum physics, if we're going from the standpoint of quantum physics, we all one field. There is no ending of my energy body and beginning of my kids. No, there we are one thing, and it's always exchange of energy. The same with the partner. From that perspective, if you keep it in your mind, now let's go to our example, issue with the partner. What I feel inside, he's gonna give it to me by the law of universe that is going back to quantum physics, the balance. Because everything very balanced, very symmetrical, very, very dual. In the physics of atoms, it's very like a register. Everything that you bought, you're gonna pay for every single thing. Everything. Okay, same in relationship. You are looking for to experience those feelings And the partner, by the exchange of energy, gonna give it to you,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what you have. Any other experience that you never experienced in the past, you're not gonna feel it. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna bring an example that I always say and that I always bring. The bus is going toward the New York. One road, 100 people in the bus. Every single one have different life, from different family, different growing up, different upbringing, different experience of life,
Mm-hmm.
which are the experience from the very early stage,
Mm-hmm.
childhood. Every single one in the bus will feel different about the same road.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm from the family of a construction, like somebody builders, I will be looking at the buildings and will be only remember them, how they look, how they shape, maybe like what they use material or something else. Somebody next to me is from the family of yoga and something else, and they will see only those like interesting places where they would do a nice practices, or this is nice area for this like a certain ritual, or this, oh, I would use this for that doing yoga or whatever, you know. And every single one will have the same experience, different experience based on their collection of their memory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one that is from yoga family never gonna know about the buildings. They never gonna know. They wouldn't even see the buildings, how they look and how they shaped.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not know anything about his places of natural uh, things that he saw for yoga retreats or something else, because I experienced only the buildings. That's all I was growing up with.
Right.
My family was always showing, saying, see, this is that, this is great, this is because of that angle or material or something else. See? And how beautiful might be the place, I won't see it.
Right.
Same in life, same in an experience, same in exchange, in relationship, finances, health, even the purpose. Same
Right.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It reminds me, when you say that, it reminds me of like what we focus on the longest grows the strongest. So I do remember when I was, ingesting a lot of animal products, eating dead animals and animal flesh, right? I saw a lot of the fast food restaurants. I saw the Popeyes, I saw the KFC, I saw the McDonald's, I saw the Burger King. And then when I was lessening up and going into more vegetarian or more vegan, suddenly I saw places that offered that. And I was like, oh, I never saw these before, right? But they were right there, but I didn't see them because they weren't in my level of awareness or my level of
Of
perception.
course.
And then when I
Mm-hmm.
started juicing and just going on juice, all of a sudden, oh, cold pressed juice, juiceries over here, juiceries over there. It's like, what? They actually have these places? I never knew that, So it was like
Exactly.
every time my perception would go somewhere different, my vision would grow somewhere different, you know? Yeah.
I, I like the that statement, redeemers. I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, and I do apologize. I believe we need to solve childhood trauma, to stop sabotaging, stop asking for bad vibes. That's for sure. Oh my God, that's just on point. Just like, yes, when we work with ourselves, we work on a relation. Let's see. Let's open up that can of worms with a traditional what is it, psychotherapist, right? Or yeah, therapist, let's say, where they would work on the issue that person or customer or client came forward resolving the relationship drama or problems, right? And what most of therapists would do, they would go into how did you feel, why did you do that, maybe you should look into the from the other perspective, maybe this, that, the other. They will be going around the same thing that is currently happening, but the core and root of it, nothing to do with the current situation, nothing to do with it. No people who involved, not the situation. The core and root is the childhood trauma, where that person that feels abandoned, whatever they feel, negative feelings, where, when, in the first place, that child felt that abandoned, disconnection, emotional and parents not available to them, or something else. That's the core. That's where you want to go, and that's where you want to look. If that person in the older ages feel certain patterns, certain feelings in relationship, in any other area, it brings us not to that current situation, but back into the childhood. One of the parents was acting like this partner. That's it.
Okay. All right. So there's another thing that I really would love to dive deep with you. And we touched on it last time, but we didn't really, pierce the surface. And it was your experience with neurolinguistic programming. Because did you have a partner throughout your whole process of reprogramming and, creating those new neural pathways in your mind?
I wish.
Okay.
There is one person in your life, is you.
Okay.
You make yourself heal, you break yourself, you make yourself holy.
So what was your method, or what was that process that looked like for you when it came to neurolinguistic programming? How did that impact and influence the way that you do things today?
Neurolinguistical programming is a huge part of my life. Since like 17 years ago, when I finished the school, NLP school, and it's just changed the perception. It's just I've got such a mind blowing with realization that everything that we see, we watch, we like movies and etc. It's a on on its own clear hypnosis. Every single thing, every single statement that was brought to our attention is a sort of gonna impact us one way or another. The words are the power, and it became so strong in my brain when I realized that every word causing in our brain chemical reaction, every single one. If we use more words with a positive meaning, love, beautiful, happiness, etc., etc., it's not just the words, but it's a chemical reaction in our body. It turns on certain feelings that will release a certain amount of what is the name in English? Hormones into the blood, and will give us that experience of that love, happiness, etc., etc. If we're using negative meaning words, like negative, any bad, lying, something that has a negative meaning, it will impact us in a negative way. Our state of our brain, our mind, today, here, in an hour, you will feel different if I'm gonna talk using those words. And you're not gonna even make a connection in your body, in your brain, why you feel different. Because it's still causing our brain to digest that word, to take it subconsciously, that meaning, releasing certain amount of certain, again, that word, hormones in our body, so we can experience it on our physical level. Why? Because we're all not physical. We're not body. I keep saying it and bringing it to attention. We're not body. We are subatomic particles. What are this? It's a pure energy. Everything that we hear impacts us in one way or another. The energy flow, it's never stable. It's never static. It always moves. Everything impacting our energy. Not gonna go to physics unless you want me, of course.
Well, this is just really reminiscent of a movie that I just watched the other day. And the movie, it just came out, Albina. I don't know if you heard of this movie. It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania. and it talks
Mm.
about going subatomic, and they went deep down into the quantum realm, and they discovered that there were whole worlds and universes within the smallest things. Like when the further they deeper they went down, the bigger everything started to look at the subatomic level, and even time was going differently. You know, it changed everything, but it showed them that there was so much that lies beneath the surface. So when it comes to NLP and, you know, language, realizing the power of words, what then did you start to do to discover and uncover those things within your neural network?
Well, I looked into what words mostly I use.
Okay.
And some are, of course, especially working with people, you want to use words that would bring certain state for your client or for somebody that you work with, or you even communicate in a daily life with a friend or somebody. Because again, as I am saying, you can be happy, but then talk to somebody that feel down and use negative meaning words, right? I don't know how to translate in English. It's semantica in Russian, negative and positive meaning, and they will impact. And you're kind of not taking it personally, but then in an hour after being around, you feel like not even happy anymore. You're just feeling okay, you know? And by the end of the day, you're like, I don't know why it started so good, but then it just dropped somehow, because it's always exchange of energy. It's a universe of balance. Yes. What did I do with through the NLP? I started to be very cautious with everything I say,
Okay.
every word I use. But you know, it's complication sometimes, because if you are in a family and you have a friend or a partner or the parents who used to use certain language, you cannot change them. And of course, it's going to trigger what it did to me, trigger some tension within me. I'm like, how you cannot understand it's impacting. One, somebody would say to you something, one statement that you are, let's use something positive instead of examples of negative. Let's say they would say, you are very handy when you do this. It's so easy for you to do it. You heard it once, your subconscious didn't catch it. It's just heard it once, so it's kind of like, all right, somebody said it. Somebody out of the nowhere said it to you twice, and you subconsciously caught it. It's a second time within a certain frame of time. And you're like, I heard it somewhere. Third time you hear it, it's total truth for you. For your subconscious, it's total truth. And now later on, in like going forward, you kind of like, I am really very handy, and everything that I want is very easy for me. And you don't even know where you got it. And actually, everything is becoming very easy for you because you built that neural pathway by hearing those things towards your way.
Over and over.
Neurolinguistical programming. 2 and more times repeating certain things creates the neural pathway.
Okay. And you said you get to the point where you don't even know where it came from.
Exactly. Of course you don't. You're like, I don't know, but I just, it's always easy for me. I just hand it on my own. It's always easy for me, you know?
There it is. So I love when you say things that are they're so profound in their simplicity, you know? It expands us in so many ways, but it's like it was there the whole time.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's the saying that the small affects the all. You know, the little things are the big things. So when you understand like the power of the subconscious, they say you wouldn't want to let, you know, these negative words enter, you know, standing guard at the gates of your mind, because it all matters. You know, everything matters. Like you said, even the smallest things. So you made me realize just now when you spoke, Albina, there are friends that I have that it seems like, and you might have these friends as well, that so many good things happen to them. right? It just seems like they're so lucky. Like they have a four-leaf clover, just they lean down and they pick it up, and that's the first one. Or just money just falls in their lap, or they just have good experiences, good opportunities, circumstances just work out. But then you listen to them speak, and somehow when you listen to what they speak, the words that they're saying what they're experiencing. They're like, oh, I just feel so blessed. Oh man, today is just a wonderful day. Oh, I'm just so blessed to be here. Oh, I just feel so good, you know? And they're saying it effortlessly. They're not even thinking about what they're saying, but the thoughts and the words are becoming manifest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's coding itself yourself, you know. We always coding ourselves, or somebody will do it for us. So that's where the meditation plays the big part, where you kind of coding yourself on what you want, because somebody will code you for what they want, either news or the movie that you watch, or one of your friends or somebody else. Another thing for with the brain that is very important, when somebody is telling the story to you, right? And they're saying about their own experience something, and they're saying something negative. Let's say they had a discussion with somebody else, and they are referring in telling you like they would say to you. Let me give you an example. Let's say they had a discussion, and they would tell you, and can you guess, he told me I am, or, and they said that you are, and a list of negative, you know, labels, something else. Those words, those phrases, you are, it's a story that you not part of it. You just listen to your friend, but your subconscious doesn't know. So you kind of listen here and now, but once it's said, and he told me, you, and subconscious taking it as that was actually said to you directly.
Wow.
That's
Wow. So
another.
even talking about someone else, it's affecting you.
It's everything, every single thing. Again, going back into the physics, it's one field, you can't just disregard it. It's like that energy field of magnetic field of the universe, of the earth. We can't see it, it affects every single one. Same here.
Okay. So even speaking good things about someone else, you know, those good things you're speaking are also coming back. What the energy you put out is what you attract.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
And it's not like metaphorically, it's actually physically.
Right. 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 At the level of physics. You know, this is fascinating. When you talked about, you know, coding yourself or you will be coded, you know, programming yourself or you will be programmed. Last time you touched and you said that sometimes you've put people into trance. Is that right? Is that one of your methods of putting someone into trance?
Yes, it depends what exactly we're looking for.
Right.
Like,
So would that be called like hypnotherapy? What would that be called?
hypnosis is a little bit deeper. If we go into Erickson hypnosis, the one that part of the NLP that I was completing, right, a long time ago. It's a technically changed perception and feelings regarding something, but it's a little bit deeper than trance. We 80%, 90% of our active state, we are in trance. Every time you have your eyes concentrating in one point, you know, you like block out at this moment, nothing else exists but that point. You kind of like some other place. That's a trance state. And the trance state is important because during you being in that trance state, it's very easy to slap something right into your subconscious. It's open door to your subconscious. So that's why when you, a lot of techniques, right? If we go into how we code, a lot of techniques. Like if you talking to me and I want you to believe something, I would make sure I will say something that I want you to believe when you exhale, because that's when you take the words like true to you, that you would take it. You're not gonna turn on the conscious analyzing it. So it's like, not sure if we even need this, but this is like technical part of the work. But based on those, a lot of commercial created, a lot of news. They're based on a lot of things. There is a department that works directly with how better approach certain thing and give and get better feedbacks from a not population, like social environment or something. So NLP is yeah, we're coding ourselves every day.
Okay. So when you said that, Albina, you made it seem like when someone is focused, you know, in a general direction, like if you have your eyes focused on something, that everything, every external stimuli is almost going straight into your subconscious, like
Yes.
the door to your conscious is wide open.
Yeah.
You know? And that
Also,
go ahead.
also when we sneeze, right? When we sneeze, first couple seconds after we sneeze, that's when there is an open door to our subconscious. That's why in practice, in older time, nowadays, we always say God bless you or bless you. Good. It's like coding right away to person when they sneeze, and it's like direct instruction. So it's very good experience, like very good if somebody's saying something good around you when you're in trance, when you're focused on something and completely out of this world. With your brain, you are some other place, that like trance. Or when you sneeze, right? But
Right.
it's also, um, but it's also could be used in many different things. And of course, when the child is growing, how many experience that child experiencing, how many events, memories been built in the system of that little child all the way till 5 years old. That's all will be developed later on in life. That's the feeling that the child will always feel when they grow up. That's the feeling that they will always carry, the memories that are going to trigger the same patterns, the same reaction, the same chemical processes within the body caused by the words or some other triggers.
Right. Right. So if we're always in a state of trance, more or less, you know, maybe in those different brainwave states of like the beta, the alpha and delta states, and if someone is looking at a television, like you said, with the commercials and the subliminal messaging and the things that are going straight into that door that is already open, you know, the
Yeah.
subconscious mind is already open. You're glued to the television. It's telling you a vision, right? It's broadcasting. You're changing the channel. You're being programmed, you know? So as you're tuning in, you're turning into whatever you're tuning into subconsciously.
Yes. And then you're going to the store and buying that whatever patties they were selling, and you know it's not good, but for whatever reason you are buying that exactly, and you have no answer why.
Right, right. How would you use this, knowing this and having this knowledge and expertise in this field? How would you use that to usher somebody into a state of hypnosis or a state of trance to where you can now utilize that information to change them in a way that is beneficial for that person?
Well, I use different states of mind. In a session, lately I do more group sessions because it's we always gonna be in certain trends. It doesn't matter. And we have so many neural pathways, billions from our childhood that will still create our day. What important is, again, going back to our rituals. That's what you will break. That's how you will break that patterns of your everyday thoughts, life, etc. Remind me the question.
Yes.
Just
How do you usher your people into trance? Like when you're working with a client,
Mm-hmm.
how do you usher them into that state where you can utilize the information you know about the subconscious for their benefit, you
Well,
know?
I use it. I use it just to guide, give a better result, give a happiness state of different experience in many, many different ways. What exactly happening during the session is not. I'm not concentrating on a trance. I do on the trance, of course, but on the feelings that will bring a blessing with like related to experience negative that was negative. There is no negative experience in universe. Any experience is experience. It's 0 point. um, to put it this like negative or say it's been a bad experience or good. It's just the feelings towards that experience. My point in session trends I do use. I'm using words always to help me guide and etc. Right? But very important, no matter what, by the end of the session, the person that came forward to work for me to work with, I want them to feel blessed for the experience that they couldn't expect, you know, couldn't take in, couldn't digest. The one that they would call that was a different negative experience. I want them to see different side of it because it's always there. We just see one. And it doesn't matter. I use an NLP, I use words, I use trance, I use sessions, I use family constellation techniques, I use master of analysis. It's a quantum physics, it's quantum psychology too. A lot of different techniques to bring person to a point where they would feel value in the experience that they had.
Okay.
I can tell you once like for sure that no matter what, that's the point of seeing everything as like blessing, and you know it, everybody do. Realizing that it served for you here, that experience served something.
Okay. Okay.
How I do it, it's different not therapists but consultants, whoever we call ourselves, right? We use different techniques, and I don't want to devalue one over another and say somebody does it wrong, I do it right. No way. I have my own experience. I found my that serves me better. Somebody found another one based on their experience, and it's also work.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you always just for coming on and just authentically giving, from that space of just your experience, the things that you've gone through, and letting people know the power of words, how they can impact and influence our neural pathways, the way that we do things, the way that we think and act and speak, and how everything matters. That there's not one thing that does not matter, that it all factors in and it's all connected in some way. I just really reflect that. Thank you so much. I respect that. Yeah.
Yes, everything is matter. Remember, all whoever watches this, whoever will be watching and recording, remember that something we just can't see, but it doesn't mean that it's not exist. The universe is very balanced. What you feel inside will reflect outside and will give you that experience from outside to go within yourself and see why certain feelings always keep coming back. So maybe it's a time for you to look inside and ask yourself, what exactly I feel when we fight with somebody, when I'm not happy, what exactly I'm missing. Give you my example. 2 days ago I was feeling, I don't know where it came from, some stress. And later on a day, like I'm like everybody else, I experience all different type of feelings. And I was like, a kid, like, don't touch me, don't ask me anything right now. Mama's not in the mood. I need time. most of the time I go and I meditate, but because I have a lot of different techniques, different practices, right? I ask myself, I sit down and sit type of like relax, and I'm like, okay, what is it? What caused it? Nothing happened. Kids, no, nothing that would cause this feelings. Okay, then I'm asking myself, what exactly I feel? Where is it coming?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that I am missing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, what is it I'm missing that I'm so much tension, feeling so much tension, and I'm so aggressive right now? What would replace it? What is it I'm missing? And you know, the picture in my feeling that I got, I'm missing connection to my mom.
Mm.
And I would, and again, next question that I'm asking, what is it exactly I'm missing in connection with my mom? And the answer is, it's all within us. We have it all. And and I felt that what I would want to be that little child again on my mom's hands. When she look at me and I have her undivided, extremely huge love for me as a child, acceptance, realization, I'm here, I'm loved, I'm accepted, I see you, I understand you, I feel you. And this is something that I didn't realize. Then if I wouldn't even, if I wouldn't have that experience knowing how to get to a core, what is it exactly causing it? I would probably think it's a kid that caused it. I would probably think it's a husband who caused it. I would probably throw the tension outside and point out and say, no, you caused me feeling this way. No, me missing the feeling of love, acceptance, understanding, realization at that point, for whatever reason, gave me the tension, you know? And of course, there is always transformation you can do. You can actually play it out in your mind, feel it, feel the love, call your mom or whatever you have situation, and have build up back that connection and say, you know what, I feel I'm missing you right now here. And if it's not possible and the parent is not around no more in the physical universe, then you can do it in your mind. Because information, quantum physics is a beautiful thing. Everything exists here and now. Nothing goes away. Nothing goes further in the future. Every single experience, every single person that ever lived on this earth, presently here. Because in quantum physics, on the level of subatomic particles, there is no past, no future. Everything happens here and now simultaneously. You always connected to your parents, even if they're not around. And how it is working? We are matter. On the cell of our body, we are matter. The matter, the atoms that our cell made out of are matter, but the atoms made out of subatomic particles, and that's normal matter. It's energy. And on that level, it's different universe. It's different laws. The traditional physics doesn't work. The traditional law doesn't work. It's no future, no past, everything here and now. That energy, massive energy that we see when we scan our body, it carries everybody, every single experience that ever happened in your family. You always here connected to your family. So you can go back and you can sit down and understand, realize I am here, she is here, my mom is here. And imagine that you actually, that child right now there that she's holding on her hands with the eyes looking at you with full of love and acceptance,
Beautiful.
We can heal our life, ourselves easy if we understand that everything comes from within and everything goes back in.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. Thank you for putting that so eloquently, Thank you for expressing these things, the best way you know how. I really appreciate just the way that you thoughtfully put, you know, these explanations. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Jerome. I hope it helps whoever's here, you know, and if you're going through whatever hard time, not hard time, waves of different moods, it has a meaning. It brings something from within, indicating, look inside, look, something causing that
Mm-hmm.
pain. Mm-hmm.
So looking within, you know, that is the best place to begin is within, for
Mm-hmm.
sure, for sure. So what would you say for anybody looking for your services or wanting to receive your offerings? What would you let people know that you have available?
I do one-on-one sessions, and whoever is looking for looking into their own issue, they can contact me, inbox me. Uh, Now I'm just planning to do a couple of group sessions related to tension, feeling of tension within the body, blocks of feelings, um, not being able to express some feelings like anger, people who pleasing others. Those also, it's a dynamic that comes from blocking the anger and etc. So that's my upcoming group session that I'm gonna do. And if anybody would want to work through the blockages of feelings, can also contact me. Or I have a link in my profile. You can click and register through that link. Pre-register
Beautiful.
for that group session.
When did you say that group session is coming?
I am planning it. I do it from once in a while, mostly with Russian speaking, but I've done it many times with English speaking, and it was like, so I want to just do it English speaking
All
too.
right.
Not sure when exactly. It's just in the plan.
Okay.
Sometimes March, maybe March.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Albina, thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, you know, thank you for expanding us, you know, once again.
Thank you for having me. It was blessings, and thank you so much to everybody who've been here. Whoever got something out of it, I hope it helped you. And thank you to my family. John, I see you. Thank you so much for the feedback. And everybody else, thank you guys. Radiamas, not sure again if I'm saying it correctly. Cosmic, Curly, again, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love and blessings, Jerome. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Take care.
We'll see you next time.